Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome in. I'm the Political Gamer. It has been a while since we've made some political content that we were going to edit down and be able to post to several online media sources. And I felt like this would be a good time as we're really kind of gearing up after our pretty big holiday break and downfall from the 2024 election. First off, if there are any Republicans, Democrats, or independents that are seriously interested in politics and discussing, debating, and hopefully influencing Americans to get out and vote, to elect people that are going to lead us, then please make sure to drop a follow and like the content. Maybe even drop a comment. I like to read the comments. I like to answer the comments. Sometimes we can get into little debates and arguments. Sometimes we can share a laugh. And sometimes you get to make a friend that you didn't know that you were going to be able to make or have just by dropping that comment, liking the video, or following for more content. With that being said, as we come out of our holiday break, it's important to remember that we are just days away from the inauguration of the 47th President of the United States of America, Donald John Trump. He also was the 45th president, as most of us know. He was quickly ousted in his second, or what would have been his second term as the president if he had won the 2020 election. But Joe Biden won. Joe Biden was given an opportunity to run this country, to turn it around, to bring it together, to right the ship. A lot of people will tell you that Joe Biden didn't do that. And we're not here to defend Joe Biden. We're not here to blame Trump. We're not here to defend Trump, and we're not here to blame Joe Biden. My point is, for any American, first generation, second generation, 50th generation, it doesn't matter if Trump won, because he won the vote of the majority of Americans. He also won the Electoral College. It's important to remember that that is what Americans wanted. We can talk about how he has treated the office, how he's abused power, what his plans are, the fact that he has made jokes about being dictator on day one. But what's important to remember is you can still have that opinion of Trump, but you can still respect the office of the presidency. If Trump called you right now to say, I would love for you to be my inauguration, outside of the fact that most of us could not go because we don't have vacation or, holiday pay that will cover the expenses, along with not being able to work because we're, average Joes. But if none of that was in the way, would you go? Would you say, yes, Mr. President? I'll be honest with you. Not a fan of Trump. Didn't vote for him in 2020. Didn't vote for him in 2024. But if I could go and there was no obstacles in the way, I would definitely go. He is still, after all, the most powerful person in the world. The President of the United States. The Commander-in-Chief. Whether we like it or not, whether we like his policies or we dislike them. You can't just love your country when you win. Joe Biden said that. I think that words like that are going to go down pretty famously for Joe Biden and could be a defining moment for his presidency, along with how we view Joe Biden. Much like we just realized that Jimmy Carter, so many years after his presidency had ended, we now know that Jimmy Carter did so many amazing things that have shaped our world today. By him deregulating the United States government, he was able to make the cost of flights go down substantially. That caused a massive boom in air travel, leading to what we have today is pretty much cheap airfare. Because when airplanes kind of became the first commercialization during the 1960s, 70s, flights were super expensive. Only the elites and the rich could afford that. So the fact that you, me, and pretty much almost anyone in the United States can take a flight from one city to another is pretty remarkable. That was thanks to Jimmy Carter. Now, deregulating may seem like a Republican's job, but you got to remember, Jimmy Carter was a Southern Democrat, and he had some good policies as well in other topics. For example, he set aside the most land out of any other president for federal lands. He took, I believe, 800,000 acres and made it private for the government land for public use and reserved it for the national park in Alaska. And there was plenty of other things that Jimmy Carter did. I think it's important to remember that he also was a great human and did a lot of really good deeds. There's a lot of conspiracies out there. There's a lot of nut jobs. They'll listen to this video or podcast. They'll listen to your video or podcast. They'll listen to anyone's video or podcast. And they'll say that he was part of the cabal, selling children in adrenochrome and talking about weird cryptic things that no one has seen in the Bible, but they have seen. But it's important to remember that it's not how you measure someone based on the way that they walk or the way that they talk. The real measure is the monuments that you build, the people that you raise, the family that you have, and most importantly, simply, the people that show up to a funeral. That is a monumental milestone. And given that this is a tumultuous time here in the United States, so many people showed up to show love for the former president and peanut farmer from Plains, Georgia. So when you were out there amongst the MAGA, amongst the alt-left, and you hear people say, "Not my president," remind them that being an American, it's not about only loving your country when you win. It's about loving your country, loving the flag, standing up for others' rights, making sure that all Americans get to enjoy America. That's what being an American is. I'll see you guys in the next podcast, The Next Thought. I'm the Political Gamer, and I'll see you guys at the ballot box.